All right, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode of Just for the Tech of It. I'm your host Drew Prindle, and once again I will be bringing you all the weird and wild tech news that you probably missed this week. Let's get into it. So first up, let's talk about mutants. So earlier this week, there was a study published in the journal Nature Biotechnology that suggests that there are legitimate mutants walking the earth right now that have genes that give them special abilities. Now, before you get too excited, I must admit that this is not exactly like X-Men. These mutants don't shoot lasers from their eyes or control the weather or any of that. Instead, these people have mutations that are quietly helping their bodies fight deadly diseases that should have killed them years ago. Scientists think that if we could find these people and analyze their genomes, we could potentially find cures for disorders like Tay-Sachs or cystic fibrosis. The only problem? The researchers have absolutely no idea who these mutants are or where they might be living. The study that pinpointed them was done with anonymous genetic data from nearly 600,000 people. After crunching the numbers, they found 13 people with these special mutations, but because the data was totally anonymous, we have absolutely no way of contacting them. Thing is, they found 13 of these people in a sample of 600,000. By my calculations, that means there's at least 160,000 of these mutants worldwide, which means that at least one of those guys, if we search hard enough, we might find somebody who has the cure to cancer, AIDS, or thinking that it's okay to go outside with socks and sandals on. Next up, let's talk about quantum physics. So, scientists are developing a new quantum computer by studying how people play a newly released puzzle game called Quantum Moves. You can seriously download this game right now, and by making your way through the levels, you're actually helping scientists gather valuable data about a very difficult quantum physics problem. The game itself is a bit of an oddity. In it, you have to bend and warp this flat line with your cursor and use those bends to transfer a choppy liquid that destabilizes and spills if you move it too fast. Your job is to carry the liquid across the screen and deposit it at this endpoint, but without moving it so quickly that you make a mess. Sounds simple enough, but here's the catch. The liquid doesn't behave in accordance with the traditional laws of physics and gravity. But despite the game's odd quantum physics, you'll actually find that after a few rounds, you unwittingly and intuitively begin to understand how to manipulate the game. That's what scientists are after. They're after the unconscious problem-solving abilities that our brains have naturally, but even our most advanced supercomputers still struggle with. And by making it a game that's available to millions of people, they've effectively created a way to crowdsource the problem and download humanity's common intuition. I'm actually a bit conflicted about this one, because on the one hand, this is so cool and such an elegant way to solve a problem. But on the other hand, it kind of feels like some Ender's Game type shit, you know what I mean? Like they tell us it's for quantum physics research, but they're actually trying to train us to kill aliens or build an AI bot that's gonna take over the world. I don't know about you, but I don't want to end up in a human petting zoo, so for now, I think I'm gonna stick with Flappy Bird. Is that even relevant anymore, Flappy Bird? What are the kids playing these days? What's hot? What's the new game?
Why are we watching these images?
All right, last but not least, let's talk about drones. So, because more people are flying and crashing drones these days, a group of researchers from Denmark have actually developed a crash test system that'll help examine what happens when drones crash into objects and humans. To do this, they basically replicated the same system that scientists use to crash test cars, but they made it just a little bit smaller. There's a drone arm on a sled, a wall at the end of that sled that the drone just smashes into, and then a bunch of high-speed cameras rolling so that they can watch the replay in slow-mo. The funny thing is that to test what a drone impact might do to a human, they seriously just duct taped a pork roast to the end of the sled and slammed a spinning drone propeller into it at high speed. And surprising absolutely nobody, it gashes the shit out of the meat like a samurai. Kind of makes me wonder, did you really have to build an elaborate pork slicing machine just to figure this one out? Those rotors spin at like 9,000 RPMs. Pretty much anything spinning that fast is gonna screw you up. You could spin a wet sock full of Jello that fast and it'd probably still put you in the hospital if it hit you in the face. No need to waste a perfectly good pork roast on this stuff. Just watch that video of what happened to Enrique Iglesias and call it good. All right, that does it for this week, but be sure to tune in next week for more weird and wild tech news.